What's good, YouTube? Super Insane 18 here, coming at you with our next episode of Road to Ranked. We are going to be doing a little bit of a redemption match up with this team here. This is the team that I used for episode 5, and unfortunately it didn't really go as well as expected. The video was kind of rushed. I didn't have much time to complete it or get it up. So we're going to try this a little better, take our time, see if we might be able to show you guys how this team can actually function. So, looks like my opponent is going to be going with some form of a Trick Room strategy. So, what I would like to do then is probably bring the Tapu Fini in the back to reset the terrain, and then lead maybe Tornadus and... Actually, yeah, so we'll lead Tornadus Rillaboom, and what this will allow us to do is this will let us fake out by switching into the Tapu Fini. And then I do want either the Metagross or the Landorus. I think the Landorus would be better for the rest of his team, so we are going to go with that. But let's not lock in yet, let's take some time to think about this. So the reason to lead the Tornadus Rillaboom is I can switch into the Fini on the Tornadus slot in order to reset the terrain if my Rillaboom loses the Terrain War tie. And then I can fake out into whatever slot I feel like faking out into, or if I don't lose the Terrain Wars, I can just flat out taunt or do something else like that. The Fini covers 3 of his 6 mons as well, with the Landorus covering the rest. The Metagross does kind of have a place for the Hatterene, but I'm not too worried about it. My opponent's not locked in yet. I think I'm good to lock in. Yeah, I feel confident about what we brought, as I've said in other episodes. Okay, maybe my opponent timed out. It looks like it didn't get locked in until the timer hit 0. The first 2 mon were Buzzwole and Marowak, so if he leads that, we know he kind of timed out. But, as I've said in other episodes, I'm not 100% confident with my Trick Room matchup. I tend not to really handle it that well. Okay, so he did time out. It looks like he brought the Buzzwole Marowak. That being said, unfortunately, I'm kind of forced to switch out my Rillaboom. Because of the Marowak, if he comes back, he can just hit me with a really strong fire move. And then the Air Slash should do really good work, being 4 times effective against the Buzzwole. Okay, and the Buzzwole is Grassy Seed, which is definitely interesting. Let's go ahead and Air Slash into that slot, and then probably switch this into the Tapu Fini. The Tapu Fini feels like it will take that the best. And then we still leave some sort of Terrain Wars if he has the Indeedee in the back. I do think that it is going to go to the timer here. I think he's just going to end up defaulting into his moves. I'm not sure why. Maybe he stepped away from his switch, but... Okay, so it didn't take the full time, I don't think. But we'll see here. That is way too bright. Sorry, there we go. That was much better. Okay, my opponent maxed, which means that he did choose his move, so we know he didn't time out there. The question is, what is he maxing? If I had to guess, it would be the Marowak. Okay, no, so he actually maxed the Buzzwole. But I think an Air Slash should still make good work of it. Okay, so the Marowak went for Protect. We get our Air Slash, and that does really good damage. Unfortunately, because he maxed, it's not enough to take it out. He is going to Hailstorm, which will take out our... Oh, no, he went into... Okay, so the switch out was really good on our end. Okay, he's going to break our Sash on the Tornadus, which is a little unfortunate, but not the end of the world. Thankfully, we switched into the... What's it called? Into the... I can't think of words. Into the Tapu Fini. So, I think the Buzzwole is in a Muddy Water range. So I'm going to Tailwind here, and then I'm going to Muddy Water. Now, Muddy Water, unfortunately, is the most inaccurate move I think I've ever played in doubles format. It says it's 85% accuracy, but a lot of times it feels more like it's 10% accurate. So as long as I don't miss the Buzzwole, I should be in good standing. So Tailwind goes up, we Muddy Water, we don't miss. It is enough to take out the Buzzwole. It does a very good chunk to the Marowak. And then he's going to Flare Blitz, probably into the Tornado slot. I don't see him going into the Fini slot. Okay. So, what I'm going to do here, because now he's forced to go into his last two Mon, I think I'm going to switch into the Landorus, and then if the last two Mon he brought were the Terrain Setters, which they shouldn't be because it looks like he timed out, I can swap into the Rillaboom to get rid of the Terrain. Okay. Yeah, so it doesn't look like he brought the... Okay, so a little bit unfortunate for my opponent here. I essentially just Earthquake Muddy Water. The Earthquake shouldn't be enough to take out my own Fini. I will take a decent amount of damage. And the Muddy Water will be lessened by the... What's it called? By the Sun. But I still also have my Max intact. So I'm feeling really good about this, actually. Let's go ahead and... let's Geyser instead. To get rid of the Sun, since we have our Max intact, let's go ahead and max the Fini. It will guarantee we live our own Earthquake. And then we can get rid of the Sun. He has no way to set it up again since these are his last two Mon. So, a little bit unfortunate for my opponent that he timed out. I'm not sure if he was there and just didn't select fast enough or what the story might be. Okay, and he just forfeits. Staring down an Earthquaker when you have two Mons that are weak to ground is a little bit too much to handle in some cases. So there's our first win. Let's go ahead and jump into another. I do not want to check his team. Okay, so I think we played that well. Even though he timed out, we still made the correct choices for what to bring. Just because it overall had the best coverage for his team. Okay, so my opponent has actually a pretty threatening team with 5 legendaries on it. Okay. I think leading the Landorus is definitely good because it's got the Intimidate. It's got the Earth Power for the Heatran. It's got Rocks for the Thundurus and the Glastrier. Because he's got Kartana and Glastrier, I want to bring the Rotom, but the Flash Fire on the Heatran is always a threat. Let's lead Landorus Fini. Let's bring the Rotom in the back. And then Metagross or Rillaboom. Metagross or Rillaboom. Metagross handles a lot of the things on his team better. I'm gonna regret not bringing the Rillaboom if it is a Water Urshifu. I hate that you can't see in the preview which one it is, but it is what it is. Like, if it shows you the Rotom type, it should show you the Urshifu type. Personal opinion. Makes it a little bit harder to decide what to bring. Okay, so Heatran Thundurus. So this is probably going to be some kind of support Thundurus, where he... Okay, honestly, I think I just max the Fini here. It's either max the Fini... okay, that's bad. No, let's go ahead, we'll max, and we have to get rid of this Thundurus immediately. And then... let's just protect with the Finny. Even if he maxes and goes for a Lightning, I'm not convinced that +2 will kill through Protect. I could be 100% wrong. I'm notoriously bad at damage calcs, but we'll see. I honestly spaced the Defiant while I was looking at the team preview, which is dumb because that's the last team I played was a Defiant Thundurus, but I guess. Okay. So, in theory, this max Rockfall should be enough to KO. And also, in theory, Protect should keep us from dying from the Lightning. Then he protects, so I don't think the Heatran protected? Okay. Okay, I guess that's okay. It makes me wish that I went for the Muddy Water, but I 100% thought that he was going to want to immediately just delete the Finny. As long as this Heat Wave doesn't get a burn. Okay, it doesn't get the burn. So let's see how much this Rockfall does. It should do good damage. Ah, just shy of killing. Okay, that's bad. That's really bad. That pretty much means that we've wasted our Dynamax. I'm going to Airstream into the Thundurus slot just in case he decides to go for the Finny this turn. And then I'm going to Muddy Water. I feel like that is the best play to make here. I don't have any sort of like Protect or anything because I am Assault Vested on my Landorus. Okay. Okay, so he just deletes the Finny. I didn't see how much the Heat Wave did. Are we in kill range of the Heat Wave? If we're in kill range of the Heat Wave, then we're in a really bad position. Ah. Come on, okay. So I don't think that's necessarily our fault. I think our opponent just pro-played us, honestly. So what do we do here? I think we need to get the Thundurus out of the way, but I'm not sure that we can. Let's double Protect. Well, no, because then he just outspeeds and takes out my Metagross. No. Let's double Protect. It will get rid of his Dynamax. It'll make sure that he can't kill us. The Heatran can't go through the Protect on the Metagross. I wanted to Thunderbolt it here to just get rid of it, make sure that it can't touch my Metagross at all. But then I run the risk of him just going straight into the Rotom slot and getting rid of it. Okay, so I could have done what I wanted to do, which is a little bit unfortunate that I didn't, but it is what it is. At this point now, though, I'm not sure there's any scenario in which we win. Because he still has 4 Mons left. I could potentially take out both the Heatran and the Thundurus here. If I Thunderbolt this, and then Stomping Tantrum. But he's going to do a ton of damage, and unless he brought all the slow stuff in the back, there's really not much left for us to do. Okay, and the Heat Wave's going to 100% take us out. Okay, he misses our Rotom, which doesn't matter. I wish he would have missed the Metagross. But it is what it is. We're at the very least going to take out the Thundurus. Not really sure what that does for us. Having the Heatran on the field is bad. It means that the Flash Fire will make it so we can't burn anything. If he brought the Urshifu or the Glacier in the back, pretty much we lose. Again, unless it's the Water Urshifu, then we have the chance to Thunderbolt it. Okay, so it is the Water Urshifu, but it's more than likely faster than us. Protecting does nothing because it goes through Protect. Our hope here is that he does something stupid. Okay, no, yeah, we're just done. Okay, so that was bad. Again, I don't think that it's necessarily anything that we did wrong. I think he just made a better play than us on turn 1, focusing down the Landorus instead of going for the Finny. Had he gone for the Finny, we would have definitely been in a good position. He wouldn't have had the speed boost on us. Our Landorus wouldn't have been so low. We would have been able to speed boost on the next turn to kill. And then we would have been able to eventually Quake into the Heatran. Alright, so we're 1 win, 1 loss. Let's keep going. Let's not let that loss get to us. Again, it was just unfortunate he made the better play. Up against Danilo. What is Danilo bringing? Okay. So with that kind of a team, I definitely want the Rotom in the back. I honestly think I'm free to lead Tornadus Metagross here. I want the Rotom in the back because it handles the opposing Metagross and the opposing Ferrothorn. And then, honestly, it's a toss-up between the Finny or the Landorus. The Landorus seems better because my opponent has a Regieleki and the Landorus is immune. But they both pretty much handle the same mons. The Landorus has rocks for the Volcarona and the Salamence, while the Finny has Moonblast and Muddy Water for both of those. The Landorus is better against the opposing Metagross, where the Finny doesn't really have much to hit that with. So I think that means Landorus is our better bet. So depending on what he brings here depends on what our first move is. We could either taunt, Tailwind, or even Brutal Swing, depending. If he leads with the Spectrier, I don't think there's a world in which we Brutal Swing, personally. Okay. So this makes me think he's going to try to activate his own weakness policy. That being said, I definitely want to Tailwind. And I definitely want to just hit the Spectrier. Steel Spike is probably the best option. It's Stab. It will raise our own defense for the opposing Metagross, because then if the opposing Metagross tries to, let's say, Stomping Tantrum into me, it'll activate, or even Max Quake, it'll activate my weakness policy. I'll not die because I have a defense boost, and I'll be faster because I'm setting up the Tailwind here. Actually thinking about it, the Spectrier does get Will-O-Wisp, so this might have been a bad move. If he okay, so he's maxing first, so either his Metagross is winning the speed tie, or he's maxing the Spectrier. Okay, so it looks like the Metagross is just winning the speed tie. I don't have any speed investment, so it's possible that he does. Honestly, kind of a bad move forgetting that the Spectre has Will-O-Wisp. I guess the plan here is to hope that we outspeed with the Tailwind up and just OHKO it. It's kind of likely that it's Focus Sash though, so honestly, I don't know if we will. So best case scenario is he doesn't go for the Will-O-Wisp. Next best case is he misses the Will-O-Wisp. Okay, so he just protects, which I'm fine with. That I'm actually okay with. So, barring, let's say, a hailstorm into the Tornadus, I feel confident taunting the Spectrier on the next one. Let's see what his Metagross does before we talk about the next turn play, though. Okay, so he goes for the Steel Spike. And he goes into the Tornadus. We should take it, though, because... Okay, so we do take that. Okay. Honestly, I think we're going to kill the Spectrier here. But going for that Steel Spike, like, or rather that taunt, still make sure that we don't get burned. Okay, so he withdraws. What does he go into? He goes into the Ferrothorn. I guess that's a fair play. But the Ferrothorn's going to get taunted, which is huge. It pretty much means that he's going to have to swap it out next turn. And then hopefully here he kills the Thundurus. Or the Tornadus. It's pretty much done everything it needs to do. If I can get it switched out, I can probably handle the Metagross fairly simply. Unfortunate that he gets a defense boost on the Ferrothorn, but if I remember correctly, we brought the Rotom, so we can 100% force the Ferrothorn out. Yep, okay. So this will force the Ferrothorn out. So that leaves us free to Steel Spike into that slot, and then Will-O-Wisp into the Metagross slot. Hopefully we don't miss our Will-O-Wisp. Again, Will-O-Wisp is kind of like muddy water, where it feels a lot more inaccurate than it says it is. It is possible that he also goes for a max guard here, fearing the overheat in some capacity. Although he's maxed, he would take that, and I'm assuming he's weakness policy like myself. And I don't see him wasting his last turn of max when he could just go for another boost. Because if we get the boost on him, we are 1 up, which is pretty big. Let's see here. He could be protecting the Ferrothorn slot to see what I'm going to do, which I'm still okay with, as long as we land our Will-O-Wisp on the opposing Metagross. Okay, we got our Will-O-Wisp, which is huge. That pretty much turns off the Metagross for the rest of the match, as long as we don't activate its weakness policy. Even if we do activate its weakness policy, it just puts it back to neutral. Very surprising that he didn't switch out the Ferrothorn. It's taunted, it's facing down a Rotom-Heat. So definitely a bold move. He goes for the Max Quake, and that's going to activate our weakness policy, which is essentially game. That does almost nothing because of the defense boosts, and because of his burn. So he does get a special boost there. That could potentially let the Ferrothorn live. But I'm honestly curious. So, like, he has to be going for either Gyro Ball or Power Whip. Okay, so he goes for the Gyro Ball. That shouldn't do much. It is resisted. Okay. So with our weakness policy activated, I kind of want to ignore the Metagross. It's going to do nothing. I'm worried that with a special defense boost, the Ferrothorn has the possibility of living in overheat. So we are going to do that. And then honestly just Stomping Tantrum into it. If the overheat does kill and the Stomping Tantrum goes into the opposing Metagross, I'm still okay. It will put it back to neutral if it's weakness policy. Plus, if he finally decides to switch the Ferrothorn out here, this should take out whatever he brings in. Just flat out. Like, I don't see a world in which this doesn't take out what he switches in. Okay. So he stays in, opting to sacrifice the Ferrothorn. The overheat is enough to take it out. And then this Stomping Tantrum won't be enough because of the defense boosts, but it will still do decent damage. Let's see. Okay, so it does activate its weakness policy. He is back to neutral. Okay, but he goes for Meteor Bash. I'm not quite sure what my opponent's play here is. I think maybe he's just given up. So the Spectre comes back out. I didn't see. Did our Tailwind peter out? I don't think it has. I think we have... Okay, no, our Tailwind's gone. So that Spectre is the fastest thing on the field. I want to go to the Landorus because it's Assault Vested. And then... Does a Shadow... I don't think a Shadow Ball would take us out. This will reset the stats on our Rotom because we did get the stat drop with the Overheat. Spectre is huge, but I still think we can live a Shadow Ball. Okay, the Metagross goes for Protect, which is fine by us. Do we live this? We do. Okay. So, in any normal world, that should be a dead Spectre. Okay. Which is good. Now, honestly, we can just Protect on our Metagross and go for, like, an Earthquake. Oh, yeah, we're protecting on our Metagross and going for an Earthquake. That should seal up the game for us. Even if the Metagross doesn't die, it should die on the next one. Granted, he could, like, Ice Punch into our Landorus, but then we just bring out the, like, if the Metagross doesn't die, he could Ice Punch into the Landorus, but then we just bring out the Rotom and Overheat. Goes for the Thunderbolt, we protected, we get our Earthquake off. Okay, so the Metagross does still live. I know that we are faster, so honestly, if we live this, which we don't, so never mind. I was going to say, if we live this, we can simply just switch into our Rotom. But for memes, let's just double protect here. Well, no, we just protected with our Metagross. So let's just go for the game. Let's not style on him. So we'll just Overheat, and we will Stomping Tantrum, because why not? And he forfeits. Alright. He had to forfeit there. I'm assuming his ground move... Well, his ground move wouldn't affect the Rotom anyway because Levitate, so there was nothing he could do to the Rotom. Best case scenario is he takes out our Metagross, but that's that. So those are some better battles. Hope you guys enjoyed that much more than the last episode that we featured this team on. As always, if you liked it, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button down below. Leave any comments that you would like to see, maybe specific Pokemon or even whole team comps. You can definitely do that as well, and I will try my best to feature them. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.